Everybody, how's it going? Chris Hernandez here, back with another one. Today's video, what I want to focus on specifically is how to look yourself in the mirror and ultimately find the problems that are holding you back with your business, how to fix those, and ultimately how to get to that next level, right? So before we get started here, if you don't know who I am, I run a digital ad agency. We specifically help Ecom brand owners roughly doing 5 to 10K a month. We help them scale to 50K a month to at times even 100K per month using paid traffic with our methods, right? So if you're an ecom brand owner and you need some help, I'll link my calendar down below. You can book a call with me. I'll see if you're qualified. If my team and I can help you, I'll make you an offer on the call. If not, I'll link also below a link to my free Facebook group where you can find like-minded individuals, ecom brand owners over there who are on the same boat trying to get to that next level, right? Where they don't have the means yet, but I release weekly training videos over there as well. And I have a free course over there, so if you want to check that out as well, I'll link it down below. But other than that, specifically, right, the common saying is that you really don't have any business problems, you just have personal problems that affect your business, right? And when it comes down to ultimately what's holding you back with your business, a lot of people tend to want to do more instead of actually doing less, right? They tend to, let's say, you're not getting enough meetings booked on your calendar, and you're using, let's say you're using OMA, which I preach a lot. It's what I currently use to get clients, organic market attraction. Let's say you're doing that, it's not working for a month, and then you want to flip-flop to a different platform. You want to do, let's say, cold outreach, cold emails. By doing that, you're completely just wasting your time and you're losing complete momentum, right? If you want success long-term, you really need to focus on sticking to one platform that you're comfortable with and that you can consistently pump out content in, right? So with that being said, it's important to do a lot of self-reflection, looking yourself in the mirror, documenting what actions are you specifically taking, and ultimately looking at the feedback you're getting, right? Because if you're trying to scale and you realize that something's not working and you let this happen for longer periods of time, you're ultimately just going to get stagnant, right? But if you really document what you're doing and sort of the results you're getting from that, and you look and you let that, you document it for a month and you look and you reflect at what actions you've actually taken, it's crazy to see that at times in our heads it seems like we're doing a lot, but ultimately we're not doing enough. So with that being said, it's important to pinpoint exactly what you're struggling with regarding your business, right? I ultimately always say that the business side of things, specifically an ad agency, consists of ultimately 3 pillars. A pillar to get your meetings booked. You need a solid pillar. You need to have a solid team in place to deliver results. And then you need to have a system to communicate with your client so they're on the same page as you, right? So ultimately, those 3 pillars makes up the ad agency in itself. So if there's a specific problem, let's say on the outreach side of things, you're not getting enough meetings, well then there's a specific problem regarding what you're doing day to day, on the amount of posts you're making, on how many people are you commenting under. Let's say if you can go and actually comment under other people's posts, help them out, and then boom, right? There's a lot of stuff you can do, but when you look at yourself in your mirror and you pinpoint exactly where the problem's at, there's no hiding from the fact that you're lacking somewhere because you're not at the point where you want to get at. So with that being said, it's important to really just think with logic and really get emotions out of the picture, right? Because ultimately emotions just weigh you down when ultimately you need to, if there's a problem in your specific business, well, you need to take action that's going to resolve that issue, right? So if you get too emotionally involved, it's going to cause you to not think at all. It's going to cause you to make impulsive decisions. At times people quit because they do it for like 3 months, 6 months, and then they don't get results and they just quit, right? Well, if you go into it with the framework of thinking that you're going to make this work, right? You're going to, no matter how long it takes, you're going to see it through when this is going to work, and you just focus on the action steps day to day. Having that mindset shift is ultimately going to get you to your end goal quicker than, let's say, if you try to set a specific time limit, right? And anything that takes skill, that takes a practice, ultimately takes like a year to develop properly, right? Before you can even get started. You could reflect that and look at, a lot of people are super impatient when it comes to waiting on their success, right? And ultimately, I always say is that you just got to be super impatient to start, to want to learn, to want to get started. But once you're in the progression and you're in the process of working hard and building something for over months on end, right? It's important to have patience on your vision, and it's important to have patience because ultimately you're just waiting on time to catch up to where your vision is at. And if you take, for instance, right, just look at human nature, right? It takes 9 months for somebody to get pregnant, have a child, and ultimately form the child, develop the child, and ultimately give birth, right? It's a 9-month process. And if you take that same concept, and let's say if you were to start this business and you made 10K the next month, right? Well, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, and question yourself, would you be able to handle that amount, that infinite, that quick change of you're making roughly, let's say you're making 1 to 2K a month, and then ultimately you just boom, hit 10K in a month of just getting started? Do you think ultimately you would be able to handle it? And ultimately, would you be able to handle the workload? Because I noticed that for me, it's been somewhat of an inconsistent journey, but ultimately, I've been building all facets, all the 3 pillars. I've been constantly building those, and it's been getting easier and easier. So then when I bring on like one client, it's getting easier to get results, and then now I'm able to handle 2, 3, 4, 5. So having that experience, that proof of concept is super huge, super important. But ultimately, if you just go in with the expectations of no time limit and focusing on your day-to-day actions, well, you're going to get to your result quicker because ultimately you're focused on moving the needle with actions that are going to get you there, right? And ultimately, when you're going from 0 to 10K, it all just comes down to obsession and getting a lot of meetings booked organically, right? It takes a lot of hustle for you to get. But ultimately, if you have a goal of just getting like a meeting a day, that's 30 meetings a month minimum. And then let's say you have a closing rate of 25%, well, you're bringing on at least minimum 4 to 5 clients a month, right? So having that mindset, thinking with abundance as well, is super, super important, right? You got to realize that you can there's 2 options of making money: trading your time in for money, or creating a skill, running a business that can ultimately get you there quicker, right? Let's say you bring on 5 clients at $2,000 minimum, boom, you're at 10K. So it's always important to develop, to not get discouraged when things aren't going your way, things are slow. But ultimately, it's super, super important for you to have that abundance mindset and understand that you can ultimately hit 10K in like a matter of a month by just bringing on 5 clients. So it just comes down to the amount of effort you're willing to put in day out, the amount of hustle you're able to give day in, day out, and ultimately how obsessed are you, right? Because if you want to get to that next level, well, you have to be super obsessive and you have to fall in love with this in order for you to get to that significant result. Because ultimately, you're at a current position right now, right? Let's say you're doing roughly 0 to 2K, right, in a month. Let's say you're making that, and ultimately, to get to 10K, which is somewhat of an extraordinary result, right? When you're trading your time in for money, think about the amount of hours you have to get in order to get 10K a month. So getting that right now, right, with just a couple clients, well, it takes a certain level of sacrifice to get there, right? It takes a certain level of sacrifice for you to develop that skill, and it takes a certain level of sacrifice for you to get to that an ordinary result when ultimately it's not a part of your routine yet, right? Because ultimately you attract what the actions you do day to day, right? So something has to change in order for you to go from 0 to 10K, right? Could be habits, could be discipline, could be routine, could be a lot of things, right? Or like you could just simply, because what I've noticed too, from 0 to 10K, ultimately you have to look yourself in the mirror and change a lot about yourself, because the discipline, the habits, and the routines are super, super important for you to get there to 10K. And it's only going to get harder because as you scale more, there's going to be more complex problems, right? So it's important to be consistent, be disciplined, but ultimately understand that it takes a certain level of sacrifice in order for you to get to that 10K per month mark, right? So that's really all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share the YouTube video, guys, and I'll continue to grow this channel. But with that being said, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.